I told this story in a sermon last Sunday. It was the first time that I've told it. I've never used it in a sermon. I have told it to other people before. It's something that happened, and it's not a miracle of the kind of that I usually tell. It's just an event that's extremely out of the ordinary, or maybe not. In 1962, I was a young sailor stationed at the U.S. Naval Radio Station in Imperial Beach, California. I was what they called a watchstander. I worked 8 hours on and 8 hours off, and I did that for 3 days, and then we had, I think, a day and a half off. It's not an easy schedule, and you can never say, well, I've got Saturday and Sunday off, because it changed every week. I had the eve watch. I don't remember the date, but I do remember it was the time of the year when at about 6:30 at night it's dark, but it wasn't completely dark. You could still see without a flashlight, but it was getting there rapidly. I had gone home to eat dinner, and I came back. It was right around 6:30, and as I'm driving up to the radio shack where I worked, we were building a new Woolen Weber antenna system, maybe 50 to 100 yards from the radio shack where I was working. It was in the process of being built. There was certain dimensions about this thing. It was 100 yards in diameter, the new antenna system, that is. It was 100 yards in diameter. The antennas themselves were, gee whiz, maybe 30, 40, 50 feet high. I don't really know, but they were well up there. As I was driving towards the radio shack, I saw a light above the Woolen Weber. I couldn't make out what it was. I thought, because it was stationary and it was that high in the air, I thought, well, must be a helicopter. And I'm driving in, but the thing about helicopters, especially back in the 60s, was they were loud. I didn't hear any sound. Parked my car, and the direction I parked was actually facing this light. And that's all I could see. I couldn't see anything except a light above the antenna system. When I got out, I looked over there, and all I could see was the light. I couldn't see anything else. But there was no sound. Absolutely still. I turned around to go in the shack, and I noticed that the chief of the watch, a man by the name of Bill E. Potter, was on the roof. Now, all Navy buildings, at least at that time, I don't know about anymore, but they all had a ladder that went up the end of the building. And the chief had climbed the ladder and was up on the roof with a pair of binoculars. I said, "What you looking at, Chief?" He says, "Come up here, you got to see this thing." So I skinnied up the ladder. He handed me the binoculars. And when I looked through the binoculars, I could suddenly see this huge saucer-shaped, classic saucer-shaped ship, just motionless, sitting above the antenna, not resting on them, it was above them, suspended. What I thought was a headlight turned out not to be a headlight, but a window. And I was able to actually look right into the ship, but I didn't see anything. I couldn't, it seemed like there looked like pipes or something on the opposite wall. This was a long time ago, so I may be wrong about that. I didn't see any beings, nobody in there. And anyway, I'm sitting there looking at this thing with the binoculars. And then he said, "Here, let me see again." So I handed him back the binoculars, and I'm rubbing my eyes, trying to get a better look. And he looked at it for a few minutes. Then I looked at it. We stayed up there for about 5 full minutes. And then he had the binoculars. And as I'm looking at it, scarcely able to see anything. Suddenly it seemed to me, and I can only say it seemed, that instead of, it was sitting like this, and then all of a sudden it went like this and then went up. Happened too fast. I wasn't even sure at the time what I saw. And that was a long time ago. Well, I don't know what there was about this antenna system, but this ship kept coming back. And it wasn't just Potter and myself who saw it. Every watch section, there was 4 of them, every watch section was making log entries about unidentified flying object suspended above the antenna system. That went on for almost a month, and finally from the front office a memo came down saying make no more entries in the log about spaceships. So we didn't mean they quit, it's just we didn't enter them anymore. That was the only time I ever saw it. The reason I told this story last Sunday was because of all the stuff that's going on, Black Lives Matter and all this. And I think there is a reason that God has made all these different races. Because the universe is extremely diverse. We need to be able to get along with our own kind. Just because somebody has a different colored skin or their facial features are different than ours, if we can't get along with them who breathe oxygen like we do and eat the same foods that we do and we're able to procreate with, how are we going to be able to get along with somebody who breathes, oh, God only knows, maybe methane or some other thing. So somebody that is so completely different from us. There is a reason that we were told to welcome the stranger, to baptize all ethnicities. And it says in the Bible, baptize all nations, but the word translated as nations is the word ethnos, which is where we get our ethnicities from. So I thought that I would share that. Just to think that we are alone in the universe it's an infinite universe. Why do we think that we are so special? How egocentric is that? I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that I hope you don't think I'm a UFO nut, because I'm really not. I just had that experience, and I've had a couple of more, but they weren't like that. But they were unique. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.